Hi guys, I just wanted to sit down tonight and for dinner take a look at another food option. I saw a video that really kind of, sort of made me feel for somebody, and it was by Florida Boy Survival. And he was having some health issues due to processed meat and things like that. And I thought about it and I was thinking, a lot of the things that we call survival foods, I really wonder if they are, because if all these processed meats and things like that that we're stockpiling and bringing into the woods and all that, and calling good options for backpacking and all that, are they really that good for survival if they're causing you bowel problems and a lot of health issues and things like that? Yeah, immediately they're great. They'll provide calories and fill your stomach and probably let you go to sleep warm that night. But long term, they're probably not a great thing. So I wanted to try something different tonight. And what I have is Honey Smoked Fish Company. This is pre-cooked salmon, but there aren't any preservatives or anything like that. It's just pre-cooked and refrigerated, vacuum sealed. Obviously wouldn't want it to sit out in the heat, so I'd probably use my little my Stanley thermos or something, and freeze this and then pack it down in there so it'll stay cold for a long period of time. The other thing I'm going to try is this minute rice, and this is already fully cooked. You're just supposed to heat this up in the microwave for 1 minute or something like that. And what I'm going to do is just put this all in my Canteen cup and just let it heat slowly over the Trangia stove. And we're going to see how that turns out. Now, this Canteen cup, along with this heavy cover lid and this CanteenShop.com, I think when Canteen Shop was still a thing, I don't know if they even are anymore. I have this kit with the Nalgene Canteen bottle and all that kind of stuff. These little stoves, I gotta admit, I can't say I'm really a fan, because with this grating and all these holes, I feel like all this is doing is, number one, overheating the Trangia, because it starts to bloom out like crazy, and I think it's a waste of fuel when it does that. Also, with so much metal here absorbing all the heat, I feel like that's just drawing the heat away from the food, and it's being dissipated like a heat sink from this stove. So I'm sure it has its place, especially if you're just trying to put sticks underneath it or something like that. I feel like it would be better if they just cut all this out and just left some little notches so that the bottom of the Canteen cup is actually exposed to the flame. But I guess their intention was to make it so you could use it as kind of a grill or something like that as well. But it's a great solid piece of gear, but I can't say it's really my favorite when it comes to stoves. So I also made this thing. Now this came from, forgive me, I can't really remember the channel, but I want to say it was Mark Young Outdoors, something along those lines. And he made these little, almost like a little folding trivet type thing. And it is made with these little aluminum cable, what do they call them? They're like a clamp or a ferrule of some sort, and you just squeeze them down with your vise or crimper or whatever you have after you shape these pieces of metal, and you end up with something that will pack nice and flat. But the thing does actually work incredibly well for pots of all different shapes and sizes, but it works great for this Canteen cup as well, because it provides almost the perfect shape. And this one I made tall enough to use with my Vienna sausage stove, but I'm going to use it with the Trangia and the simmering this time. That way I can provide a much lower heat, and I'm not actually trying to cook anything here. I just want to warm it up. So with the simmering on and the Trangia a lot farther down than what is optimal, I feel like I can provide just that low medium heat instead of just a scorching hot heat like you normally get from an alcohol stove. So we'll give that a try. Let's get this all together. And the reason I'm using this is because, you know, this is in honor of the Canteen Cup Tuesdays that were done and all that kind of stuff. And not to mention, I feel like everybody has one of these. Oh, that smells amazing. You could really smell that sweet, smoky smell coming from that. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put that bad boy in there first, and then I guess chop it up a little bit so that I can fit my rice in there as well. Oh yeah, that's good. And like I said, this is already fully cooked, so you don't have to worry about any of that. This little thing. It's on there well. I haven't used this set in a long time. Not that it's a bad set, I just have metal and, you know, or steel and titanium ones now, so I don't really use it as much. Oh, almost lost that piece. I'm gonna leave that skin on too, because that skin is good stuff. So I'm just gonna cut this kind of into chunks. Alright. So, I don't know if you can see that from where you are, but I don't think the lighting's very good. I can definitely smell that nice smoky flavor. It's almost a shame to put rice in it. I should just eat the fish alone. So like I said, this is already cooked rice. It just has to be heated up. Just regular minute rice. It's actually jasmine rice, come to think of it. And this stuff is getting everywhere. Gonna end up losing more than I actually cook of it. Chop it up so it'll pour a little bit better. Alright, I want the fish. I'm more worried about that being hot than the rice, so I'm gonna leave the fish kind of towards the bottom. Whereas normally I put the rice on the bottom and the fish on top, but. Alright, that's pretty densely packed in there. Let's hope it heats up. So, rice and fish. Also, along with the kit that I bought originally, it came with this heavy cover lid. I think it is heavycoverinc.com. It's the silicone lid. I've been using this thing for quite a while and it's held up great. I've really been wanting to get one of the actual metal lids for one of these, but this one's been doing fine. All right, there's that. I'll get some of this rice off of here. I'll just set this on top just to hold some of that steam in. I might add a little bit of water if necessary, but I don't think it will be. So I'm gonna put this simmering on here right from the get-go. Get my trash out of here. She is lit. We'll let that heat up. And then we'll have ourselves a good meal. So I'm just gonna let this go as it is for a while, and if anything develops or we decide to eat, I'll get back to you. See you in a minute. All right, everyone. By the sights and smells of this, I think we're ready. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, it's definitely hot. The lid is very hot. There's a lot of steam coming through. Let's do a little taste test. Got a little tiny piece of salmon and some rice. Oh yeah, it's good and hot. Rice is tender. Let's do that. All right. This salmon really does smell good too. Let's try a little piece of. Look at that. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Mm-mm. It can't be that good and that easy. I probably had it going for, well, I used about half of the fuel in my transient with the simmer ring on and about half open. Now, one thing I did do is I ended up pouring a little bit of water from my canteen in the bottom and just let that boil, and I kind of listened to the sound. When it went from kind of a boiling sound to a sizzling sound, I knew it was out of water. I added just a little bit more because I don't want to make this a soup or a stew. And then when it started to sizzle again is when I just checked it, and it's hot all the way through. The rice is nice and tender, and that fish tastes amazing. I think this was, what was this called? Honey Smoked Fish Company salmon. And mixed with this rice, it is absolutely incredible. And I mean, given it's all packaged fish and rice, but it does have no preservatives or anything like that in it. The rice I'm not really sure of. I know it's pre-cooked, but I think at the end of the day, this has to be better than your packaged, and processed meats and all that kind of stuff. Packaged potatoes and all that. It's got to be better than that. And I'll be honest with you, it tastes a heck of a lot better. The only problem that you're going to have with this is that fish is not going to be shelf stable. It's going to be something that you're going to have to keep refrigerated or, cook relatively soon after you take it out of the refrigerator. The little Stanley container that I had while I was out hunting would be a good option because you could freeze the fish, put it in there, and you can keep it in the package, honestly, and fold it up and just stuff it in there. And it'll keep it cold long enough for you to get where you want to cook it at. That is a big piece of salmon with the skin on it. Every time I take a big bite of this food, I always laugh. But I have got to say, this is probably one of the best tasting meals that I've had. I mean, other than just cooking a steak straight on the coals or something like that. This is absolutely incredible. So, if you get the chance, pick up some of that with a little bit of either minute rice or steamer bag jasmine rice, anything pre-cooked like that. This is an excellent meal, and I'm willing to bet it's a lot healthier than the things that we normally tend to bring out there. And to make a great meal, it literally took nothing but the cook time because this fish is already seasoned, and while you're cooking it in with the rice, it imparts a great flavor on the rice. Man, I would not hesitate to do this again. Well, I'm gonna finish this off. In hindsight, cooking this, given that I feel like this stove is so inefficient, it probably would have been a good option for warming this up without burning it. Now, nothing burned on the bottom. There's actually still a tiny bit of water on the bottom. But just saying, that might have been a good option for slowly warming something like this rather than just blasting it with heat, cooking it like you would boil water and pour it into a meal. Um, I definitely think this is, for a healthier canteen cup meal, probably a good option. I would definitely give it a shot if I were you. I don't think I'd be disappointed, and I'd be willing to bet you could probably take salmon. I've actually had salmon jerky before, and you could probably make salmon jerky, put it in this cup with a little bit of water and some rice, and just cook it up, and you'd probably have something similar. Um, I'm definitely doing this again, though. This is actually one of the better canteen cup meals that I've ever had, for sure. So, anyway, I appreciate you joining me. And I also wish you success in everything you attempt to accomplish in your life. If you don't succeed the first time, I hope you gain the wisdom to succeed the next time you try. So, have a great one. Thanks for joining me. Bye. Take care.